as Jin, beloved member of BTS, lit up the Amelie Arena on July 26 with his powerful solo concert as part of the Run Seo Jin EP tour. Fans around the world were left in awe, drowning in waves of nostalgia, pride, and raw emotion. But among the ocean of lights and roaring screams, one spotlight remained dim, a silent, empty space reserved for someone who was never meant to be absent. That person was Jungkook. According to multiple internal sources and fans who had been tracking BTS members' movements leading up to the concert, Jungkook was originally scheduled to make a surprise appearance during Jin's Tampa stop, an emotional gesture meant to mark not just their reunion on stage, but their enduring bond after Jin's military discharge and months of separation. Reports surfaced late Saturday night that Jungkook pulled out of the planned performance less than 12 hours before showtime. The cause? Official statements remain absent, but theories have exploded across the internet. Some fans point to the recent emotional weight Jungkook has been carrying during his own solo projects and international appearances, claiming he didn't feel ready to stand on stage again. Not like that, not yet. Others suggest something deeper. An alleged text exchange reportedly leaked from a tour staffer revealed a chilling line from Jungkook. "If I show up now, it won't be honest. I need more time to feel like I'm enough to stand beside him again." Whether real or imagined, those words cut deep, and they echo the silent tension that many longtime fans have sensed, an unspoken pressure among BTS members to live up to their legacy, even as they grow into individual artists. During Jin's concert, a specific moment raised eyebrows. During the performance of his ballad, Astronaut, Jin turned to his left, where a second microphone stand had been quietly placed. He looked at it. He smiled. Then he turned back, singing on, alone. Fans were quick to speculate that the empty mic stand was meant for Jungkook. On Weverse and Twitter X, fans poured out their emotions. One comment went viral within minutes. He waited. You could see it in his eyes. That second mic wasn't just a prop, it was a placeholder for a promise. The atmosphere turned from euphoric to soul-crushingly intimate. Big Hit Music declined to comment on Jungkook's absence from the Tampa show, fueling further speculation. But insiders close to the tour team say there are no signs of personal conflict between Jin and Jungkook. Instead, one anonymous source suggested it was a mutual understanding of emotional timing. Still, many fans can't help but feel something larger is happening under the surface. Is this just a case of unfortunate timing, or are we witnessing a moment of vulnerability between two brothers who shared the highest peaks and deepest valleys of stardom and are still learning how to navigate the space between who they were and who they're becoming? Hours after the concert, Jungkook posted a cryptic black and white Instagram story. No text, no caption, just a picture of a closed door, slightly ajar, with a faint light shining through the gap. ARMY knew what it meant, or at least they felt it. A door not fully shut, a connection not fully broken, a promise that maybe, just maybe, still has time. Jin's solo tour was never just about the music. It was about return, reflection, and reunion. And while Jungkook's absence in Tampa left many hearts aching, perhaps the story isn't over. Perhaps his choice to stay away, for now, was the most honest love letter of all. As the Run Seo Jin EP tour continues, eyes remain on the horizon. Will Jungkook appear in another city? Will Jin address the silence on stage? Only time will tell, but one thing is certain: armies will be waiting. And so will he. Jungkook was supposed to appear. That was the quiet promise whispered among fans long before Jin's Tampa concert even began. Not because of a teaser, not because of a confirmed lineup, but because of something much more powerful: intuition, the kind that only ARMY understands. Jin and Jungkook have always shared a connection that transcends rehearsed choreography or scheduled promotions. It was that very bond, that raw, unspoken closeness, that made everyone believe he would show up, that he had to show up. But when the lights dimmed on July 26, 2025, and Jin walked onto the stage alone, something felt missing. No, it wasn't just about absence. It was about expectation. Every time Jin turned to his left during a quiet moment in the show, every time the spotlight hovered over the edge of the stage as if waiting for a second figure to emerge, every breath the audience held, it all screamed one name: Jungkook. Sources behind the scenes have since revealed that Jungkook was in fact scheduled to appear. It was meant to be a symbolic reunion, not just of members, but of moments lost to military service, solo schedules, and the ever-growing space between their past as BTS and their present as individual artists. The plan was simple. Jin would bring Jungkook out during the emotional midpoint of the setlist, and the two would perform an unreleased duet they'd rehearsed in secret back in Seoul. The moment would be filmed, shared, celebrated, a headline in itself. But it never happened. 12 hours before showtime, Jungkook canceled. No press release, no formal statement, just quiet chaos among staff and a few backstage whispers that leaked to the internet before the final encore even ended. The reasons at first were unclear. Illness, jet lag, conflict with Big Hit. No one could confirm. Then came the text. A single screenshot, shared by a known staff member on a locked private thread, began to spread among trusted fan translators and forums. In it, Jungkook allegedly wrote to Jin's team, "If I show up now, it won't be honest. I need more time to feel like I'm enough to stand beside him again." Those words didn't just land, they echoed across timelines and group chats, across live streams and fan cans. The fandom collectively inhaled. Some cried, some grew angry, some simply went quiet. On stage, Jin performed as though nothing had changed. His energy remained electric, his charisma untouchable. But attentive fans noticed the shift. His eyes lingered longer on the crowd during The Astronaut. His voice cracked just slightly during the last chorus of Tonight. And during the final wave goodbye, he stopped and faced the left side of the stage. For a heartbeat. For something. For someone. And then he turned away. Later that night, Jungkook posted an Instagram story that sent the fandom into meltdown. A black and white photo. A door, slightly open, light pouring through. No caption, no filter, just raw, symbolic silence. The door wasn't shut, but it wasn't open either. Fans dissected every detail. Some said the doorframe matched a hotel in Tampa. Others claimed the light color resembled stage lighting from Jin's concert. A few believed it meant nothing. Most believed it meant everything. Jin, for his part, remained silent. Big Hit issued no comments, no confirmations, just the usual press quotes about the tour's success. But those who know BTS, who followed their journey not just through headlines, but through every behind-the-scenes video, every casual V-Live moment, every lyric they've written, know something deeper was unfolding. This wasn't just a missed guest appearance. This was a fracture, a pause, a scar beneath the surface. Some speculate that Jungkook is facing an identity crisis, not as a performer, but as a brother. Being beside Jin so soon after his return felt like returning to a version of himself he hasn't fully processed. Others believe there may be artistic disagreements, a fear of becoming a nostalgia act, a yearning to grow outside the shadows of their shared legacy while still honoring it. It's messy, it's human, and it hurts. Yet, the door is not closed. The tour continues. Newark, Dallas, Anaheim, they await. And with them, so does hope. Maybe Jungkook will appear in one of those cities. Maybe he won't. But what's undeniable is that this story is far from over. Whether spoken through lyrics, shared in glances, or hidden in captions, the conversation between Jin and Jungkook is still unfolding. Until then, fans will hold their breath, not for perfection, but for healing, for clarity, for that moment when the door finally opens and one voice calls Young and another answers Magni, and everything that was left unsaid finally finds its way home. The next morning, the Tampa air still hummed with the echoes of Jin's voice, but in the hearts of many, the silence where Jungkook should have been was louder than any encore. Fan cams flooded the internet, highlighting every gesture, every note Jin held longer than usual, every smile that didn't quite reach his eyes. And beneath it all, a quiet ache lingered, not of disappointment, but of something more tender. Longing, the kind you feel when someone you care about isn't just missing, but deliberately distant. Rumors evolved into something more personal as fans began unearthing older interviews, moments where Jin had spoken about Jungkook with that unique mix of teasing, affection, and protective warmth. They remembered how Jin used to say, "Jungkook was like my little shadow. Now he's his own son." It was poetic then, it's haunting now.
Somewhere across the world, likely alone in a studio in Seoul or a hotel room in Tokyo, Jungkook might have been watching. Or maybe he wasn't. Maybe he couldn't. But the moment lingered, live and raw, forever saved by fans who knew exactly what Jin meant, what he couldn't say, and what he desperately wanted to. The fandom began to shift, from confusion to empathy, from frustration to understanding, because they remembered something else Jin once said, years ago, half joking. Our biggest fights were always about who would take care of Jungkook. We all thought he was ours to protect. And maybe that instinct never went away. Maybe Jin wanted him there not just as a fellow artist, but as the little brother he never stopped worrying about. In the following days, the black and white photo from Jungkook's Instagram story remained pinned in thousands of retweets. Artists drew fan art of the door, wide open, with Jin standing on the other side holding a mic. Writers crafted letters from one to the other, imaginary dialogues full of what-ifs and almost. Even those who had never closely followed their bond felt something stirring. Because this wasn't just about two idols. This was about human hesitation, about the weight of reunion, about the fear that when you finally look someone you love in the eye after so long, they might see someone different. And yet, the light from the door stayed on. That's what people clung to, the possibility. That the absence in Tampa wasn't the end, but a pause. That whatever conversation Jin and Jungkook needed to have hadn't ended in silence. It had simply been postponed. The next stop of the tour loomed closer, Newark. Rumors flared again, whispers of Jungkook being seen at the airport, a hoodie, a bag, a tattoo glimpsed through a sleeve. Nothing confirmed, nothing denied, just enough to keep hope alive. And that hope, fragile as it was, became the heartbeat of a fandom holding its breath. Because maybe the most powerful performances aren't the ones we rehearse. Maybe they're the ones we almost miss.